Hey everybody, Liam Clisham here for another Professionally Incorrect. Today is just a simple, quick tip in Redshift about how to get your refraction in glass looking proper so you don't have this dark, weird look, but something closer to this, where if you have lights behind your bottle, they're coming through properly, etc., etc. This came in as a question on another video, and I thought this probably is a head scratcher for quite a few of you. So let's jump in and see how we can fix this. So you're probably noticing that I'm inside cinema today. That's mostly because I needed a beer bottle. I just didn't have one on hand to do this inside of Houdini. So here we are in cinema today. All of this applies in Houdini or Max, Maya, etc. So I think a lot of people don't realize this, mostly because some other render engines take care of this, but just coming up and being new to rendering, you've got to account for the thickness of the objects when dealing with refraction. So what I mean by that is if I scroll in here, and it's a little grainy because I'm only at 720 and just doing progressive mode at the moment, but there are 4 layers of glass that light is trying to go through. So we've got this outside layer here, inside layer, light comes in, tries to go out the other side, so we've got this inside layer, this outside layer. So we've got these 4 depths, we'll call them, just because that's what we're going to see over here. So layer depths that light's trying to pass through. Then when you add in liquid as well, that's another 2, because you've got the outside layer and the inside layer that it's got to deal with. So now we're up to 6. And the way Redshift works, and maybe this is true in other render engines, I just don't know the math, but you basically don't count the first bounce. So right now we're up to 6 layers, but since we don't count the first ray of light that is projected, it's only making its way through 5. So when we look at this combined depth, that should work, but we actually need to add 1 to it. So we tell it, okay, we actually need to fire 7. So 7 minus 1 gets us through these 6. So if we click this up here, you'll start to notice a little bit of difference. We're getting just a little bit nicer form going on. But the key ingredient here is going to be refraction. And I think I need to reset this to default. No, it is at the default. So default is 6 inside of C4D and Redshift. And click this up to 7, and it's going to magically get these nice lights coming through because we've got these 6 layers, 6 depths, plus 1, because that first one is not included. And there you go. You're good to go. I personally like to do this with almost everything. So like global illumination, it's only going to have 4. So if we crank it up to, say, 7 or 8, make sure that global illumination is really getting there, going through properly. Volumes even, if you've ever looked at Redshift volumes, you're like, yeah, they look okay. I wish I could look better. Dude, crank these up to like 3, and your volumes will look so much better. Transparency depth doesn't really matter here. I mean, it does a little bit. If you mess around and let it bucket render, it can look a little bit better, especially down in these areas here where the curvature hits the wood and the plane. But probably not a deal breaker. So if you're noticing your rendering times are getting a little bit high, you can bring back the transparency depth and some of these that aren't as necessary. But yeah, the key ingredients here are to make sure your refraction and your combined depth are taking into account the amount of layers that you've got going on here. And even, I believe, I should have done this before I started recording, but if you were to make a second bottle and put it behind, come on, middle mouse, why aren't you doing your thing? Apparently my Wacom is just being weird. If I move this back on Z a bit and behind it, you'll notice that we don't quite get what we're looking for back here. I'll even bucket render this for a second. We're starting to get some of that darkness again. we just need more depths. You're now going through 12 because it's 2 objects. So come in here, set this, let's just do 16 and 16. And as we start to get some proper refraction going on again. So yeah, just keep that in mind. How many bounces or depths or layers your light needs to go through in an object. And that should solve these issues. So yeah, that's how you get to it in basic. Advanced, click on this, let Redshift catch up. There we go. That's under your global settings, and you can set them all here as well if you've gone in to do more advanced stuff in other areas. But for those of you that are just kind of sticking to basics, right here in your combined depth, twirl this baby down and crank some of these up and get some nice looking things. I'm even going to set this up a little bit higher. Let's see how that does there. Not really making a difference. It's really the combined depth and refraction that is key. All right, everybody, thanks so much. I know I've been making these pretty infrequently, and I say that every time I upload one of these, but I appreciate everyone that keeps subscribing and supporting me and all that. So thank you. Keep it up, please. And if you like what I'm doing, go ahead, give a like, subscribe, etc., etc. And yeah, feel free to ask questions, because that's how this video got made. Somebody commented on another video, and I thought, you know, there's probably a lot more people with this question going on. So here we go, new video. Bye, everybody.